It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time to talk TV right here on Nerd Initiative. Somebody play the intro.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52. Lying awake, intent and tuning in on you. If I was young, it didn't stop you coming through. They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine and new technology. And now I understand the problems you can see. I met your children. What did you tell them? Radio killed the radio star. Oh, radio killed the radio star. Oh, pictures came and broke your heart.
And what is going on? I am aptly dressed for this evening because we are talking about the groovy episode of Agatha All Along, episode 4. That's right. I figured if they got the plunging necklines, I might as well try one a little bit myself, look a little groovy and groove-tastic. My name is Off the Cuff Tom. Welcome back to the Sanctum of Awesome. I hope you all had a wonderful week, a fantastic weekend, and I'm so glad to see you back here again. Now, for everybody who hasn't been here before, we're going to talk spoilers about Agatha All Along. We're going to talk a few theories, but first we're going to go through the episode. Now, obviously, spoilers all ahead, so please, you have been warned. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing to work. The system's gotten a little changed. There we go. Now, we are talking about episode 4, named If I Can't Reach You, Let My Song Teach You. This is coming in response to what we saw in the last episode. We're following through. We're finally at the protection spell. So this is going to be all about our fire witch, our protection witch. I think this is a great way to do it. I do have one little gripe about it, but first things first, what they had to do is they had to find a brand new witch to finish the coven because they weren't going to have the kid do it. So if we take a look right here, she ain't here no more. That's right. Mrs. Hart is gone. Dunzo. So long. Do not pass go. Do not collect $100. She is out of here. So how do we remedy this? We make a spell. We conjure for that fact. So who do we conjure? Well, Rio, who happened to have attacked Agatha in the first and second episodes, is now back. And we obviously could tell that there was some sort of connection between them, but also knowing that she's a green witch. I mean, that's what really helped. I love the fact that then when they did do the summoning or conjuring or however you want to, I like the fact that they all had their own little spin on, may she be wise, may she be this, may she be bring Advil of all things, that they were able to add a little comedic element to it. And it also still showed a little bit of their individual characters. So finally, Rio does show up, and they keep turning around going, hey, I guess that's where the next trial is. And what's fantastic is that there's nope, we're not going there. We're not doing this. Also, if you take a quick look here, okay, if you notice how, if you see, I got my hands up here at the top of the screen or down here at the bottom of the screen. That's because the aspect ratio when they were shooting this is in 2.35. So that's very akin to like what the Wizard of Oz was shot in. So we're getting a really cool Hollywood historical nod, which I think is kind of fun considering this is like the anti-Wizard of Oz in one way, shape, or form. The best part about this so far, and I was right about this, if you took a look on the road itself, before the first trial, everything was done in blue tones. When they had come out the water slide / oven, it was in red tones. Now even the road itself is in red tones. So we did start to see the other colors, and I don't cheat, so I don't find the other pictures as far as looking up, getting ahead of myself. But we know that purple is going to be the next color, and I think that's a great way that they're incorporating. So is the next one going to be Agatha's trial? I don't know, but I still have my theories on this. Anyway, as they decide to go, they have to go to this house because it's the next trial. They turned around, the house is there. They turned around again, and the house is still there. Why? Because the road changes for the witch. Um, yeah, I think it's a really great idea that they're um, going on and how Alice's this is Alice's trial. It's a really neat way how they did it. So obviously, being dressed for the occasion, all groovy out as much as I can possibly do in 2024. They walk into the house, and just like how they did, they turned into the Real Housewives of the MCU. They're getting the band back together. Everybody is decked out like nobody's business, and I love it. That's why I got this big, huge plunging neckline. I figured I'd join the crowd on this one. Um, yeah, I mean, it is totally love child central. It's absolutely wonderful. They're all still trying to deal with the idea of why Rio was summoned of all things, and I can't figure it out why. She's supposed to be a green witch. Now, I did a little homework on green witches, and a green witch can, not only be a life witch, but they can also deal with, the after effects of what life may be. Again, like I mentioned last week, there have been some spoilers out there from certain Funko Pops figures that I really hope you don't go ahead and look for. But okay, it makes sense why Rio's a green witch at the end. As everybody's trying to figure out what exactly is going on in regards to what this trial is, Agatha and Rio happen to figure out that this whole building is one huge giant recording studio house, very, shag carpet decked out for the times. The walls are lined with tapestries of witches burning, which sends Lilia into a whole different mental state. And I have my theories about Lilia as well, so stay tuned for that. As Agatha and Rio finally go into the booth and they start talking out like, how can we do this? Are we gonna have a truce? How can we do things? She turns on the mic inside, well, I guess the mic so they can hear in the studio slash living room that Rio just wants to watch her do what she does best, destroy other witches, and then she gets her bodies. Now, why would a green witch need bodies? I don't know. Again, it makes sense if you're doing some homework, but we're not there yet. While everything's going on, Teen happens to, look around. It's like, instead of the little nice card stock that they had in the first trial, there's a record, a big old 76 that you have to play. That everybody questions, why did you play that? It said play me, duh. So he did. And the Ballad of the Riches Road starts playing, and it is playing in reverse, And I love the fact that they went back to the old idea that, well, if you play, the rock and roll is the devil's music, and if you play music, backwards, you'll summon the devil. So I thought that was kind of fun. But that was the curse itself. Great way to start it off. Then all of a sudden, Lilia gets something starts scorching and burning her shoulder. And then the same thing happens to Jen. And then Alice starts to feel lighter. This plays into exactly what the curse is later in the episode. And I think it was really smartly done. Um, it's just like Encanto. What's the best, villain of all? Generational trauma. So this is a generational curse. This is exactly what affected her mother. And we find out why mom did what she did. I think this is fantastic. It's extremely heartfelt at the same time. Everybody starts, this whole whatever it is starts affecting them. They start burning up. And then they realize, well, if this is Alice's thing and has to do with her mom, then maybe it's the song of the ballad that's going to fix things, considering that it was playing backwards on the record player. Let's play the actual song. Now, those of you who haven't seen it on YouTube, the original D23 performance they did just about a month and a half ago, please do. This just took it to the whole next level. I absolutely think it was wonderful. Obviously, everybody, decided to band up, as I'm going to say. And you can see Teen is playing a little bit of guitar. Jen's playing bass, even though she, really only plays piano. Uh, Patti LuPone easily just has fun playing every single percussion instrument you can think of. She specializes on zills. Rio's back there playing the drums. And I don't know if Aubrey Plaza can actually play drums, but I'll give it to her for giving the old college try. I mean, at least she knows how to point which way to point the drumstick, so that's a good thing. Um, then they just start rocking out in this beautiful, beautiful building. I mean, how Brady Bunch, like, I don't know what other TV shows I can think of to reference this particular style from way back when. Like, honest to God, I think like Brady Bunch, I think, Mike's Office, The Stairs, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you look, they all step down into a conversation area. Like, that was supposed to be lined with couches back in the day with that old architecture. And to turn it into a music studio is great. Lilia was also looking at these tapestries earlier, and she was having her premonitions, I'm going to say. But my theory is really, really, really cool, and I can't wait to share this one with you. As they start burning up, Alice finally starts putting, salts, or no, not salt circles. She grabs the knife that Rio just happened to bring with her on the road and does protection circles. But then they realize they just got to play the song. So they go into this great, fantastic, rocking out, having fun. Um, like you can't just, yeah, there's the knife. And then finally, because of singing the song, we finally see the manifestation of the curse. And it looks like this really wicked, evil harpy goblin homunculus thing. It might be like a harpy homunculus kind of deal. Um, but when Alice said that she felt earlier that a weight was lifted off her shoulders, that weight was going around and literally attaching, because it was the homunculus or the creature or the harpy, whatever, weighing down on everybody else and burning them and scorching them. She's been living with this her whole entire life. So finally, the weight is figuratively and literally lifted off her shoulders. Like, how cool is that? You were literally walking around with your own jinx on your back. What a great idea. As the song progresses, she can finally see it, and it finally just goes on an attack her. Well, during it, everything starts lighting on fire. Because, of course, you're going to have the fire trial and the waxing moon. Of course, you need to have fire literally going to burn you down. The song just keeps going and going. We get to the bridge, we get to the chorus. The song keeps getting more and more intense. And Alice just finally, this is the scene where she sees it and she says, I got this. This big old bad bat looking mother comes over, flies down, wham, right on her shoulders, and just starts scorching her intensely. And her singing and her power, her roar, just it just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger till eventually, obviously, the thing goes boom because it's the fire trial. Uh, During the whole session, apparently, while nobody was really paying attention, and Teen really isn't part of the coven, the creature wanted to get even and uh, bashed the kid through the recording booth into the um, into the sound booth and was just completely shattering the glass, which came back to bite him in the ass because he was bleeding. He didn't realize it. He was all up running on adrenaline. That'll come into play shortly. They sing the song, the thing blows up, and just like in the last trial, this one they had to figure there's no door. Everything was locked. There's no handles, no doorknobs, no nothing. The piano opened up and that became the way out. I thought that was fun. So they go through the piano after realizing that the kid had gotten hurt, and how they got the out, I don't know. They didn't really show like a water slide or a ladder or stairwell this time. They just kind of did. When they did, they found this big, huge tree stump. They were on another part of the road that everything was done in purple. So that was cool. So now we know we're on somebody else's trial. I honestly think we're going to get Agatha's trial at this point. Why? I think the Green Witches one's actually going to be green. And based on what I saw originally when they summoned the road, Lilia's is probably going to be yellow. Reason being, that one little tiny scene where Agatha was giving them the, pep talk as it was, and their hands lit up. And I really think hers is going to be the yellow one. Plus, that whole divination she had earlier in another episode where you saw that glowing white and yellow light. Kid is bleeding out like nobody's business, so they asked Jen to try and come up with something. The cool thing is that she was able to make a potion or an incantation for somebody that has bound powers. I really, really think that she doesn't have her powers bound. I think she has a major case of the yips. This is one of those do it for the Gipper kind of deals. So while they're out on the road, they heal the kid, and I love the fact that they did the old Indiana Jones 3. We're gonna just do baking soda and vinegar, and it's gonna sizzle and come right off kind of healing magic. I've always liked that. It's a great effect. Agatha watches over the kid. The kid finally comes to. They made a nice little lean-to for him to sleep under, and everybody's chilling out. They're talking about their powers, and Alice, finally realizes that the spell and incantation of the Song of the Witch's Road was her mother's her mother's protection spell. Knowing that song made such a hit, they always say that your favorite song is playing somewhere else in the world right now. It's the same idea, like your favorite TV show is or whatnot. That's what you get, syndication. So as long as that song was playing anywhere in the world, she didn't have to deal with her harpy bad luck, whatever the hell it was. Going back to the kid, when he wakes up, he asks, Agatha is sitting over him in total mom mode, worried about him. He starts asking questions, and she completely, this was a fantastic bit of acting on, Catherine Hahn. She had this real worried look on her face, and it instantly changed into being pissed off for having the kid ask those questions. Like, just the subtlety in her face changing is a masterclass in acting right there. They get back while everybody else is trying to talk and figure out their powers and everything and their curses. Lilia again goes off to another place. This is not the first time she's done that. And I think the reason why is not only is she a divination witch, but I think that she is living her life in multiple times at the same time. And it's kind of just spinning all together. And that's where she goes, huh? What? Huh? Yes, I would love cheese on with my prosciutto. That kind of stuff. She's just really out there because I don't think she has control on the fact of this, that, or the other thing because she's all around time mentally. And that's why she can glance at things in the future or the past. Jen, I really think just has the yips. Rio, we obviously haven't seen any issue except for her relationship that she's had with Agatha in the past. They were all talking battle scars. I mean, don't forget, Agatha had the wonderful crochet needle in her arm from the Daughters of Liberty, which was a real thing. It was an association back in 1765. So I like that they are still incorporating real history into the show. The idea that Agatha and Rio had this love triangle, or this not triangle is the wrong word, this frenemy romance, is a lot, to say the least. Like she wants her, but at the same time she knows that it's gonna break their hearts. It's a lot going on here, and I think that because of introducing Aubrey Plaza's character in, one little thing that I noticed, and I want to share this with you, is that in the first trial, what they did was they spent, because I did math, they spent 22 and a half minutes inside the water trial. Now, because of the next episode, introducing Rio in as the Green Witch, yes, they had to take up time. This was also a longer episode. I believe it ran for 35 minutes as opposed to 30 some odd if you take a look on Disney's, on the ticker on there. This episode, they only spent about 16 minutes and 16 and a half minutes inside the fire trial. Like, this is the problem. This is how we solve it. This is what we're going to do. Now we're out. Because we had to have all that character building going on between Agatha and Rio. The best part is that when they did step off and they were trying to figure out where their emotions and their hormones and everything were, is that Rio coldly just said, he is not your kid. The boy isn't yours. Meaning that team, now we know, is not Nicholas Scratch. At least that's what they want you to think. It's interesting that it just so coldly came across, but at the same time, considering how much Rio hates Agatha, it makes complete sense. The kid did ask about how do you get rid of the sigil, and unfortunately, the sigil leaves when it's not necessary anymore. So, we don't know why it's still necessary. Is it because of Mephisto? Or is it because of magic? Or is it because of, something going on? This wasn't like the biggest episode. I think, a lot of us music fans were looking forward to see how they were going to do this. Now that we've had the full song out, I really can't wait to see, like I've said over on our Friends Bleeding Rainbows podcast and show, that I'm really looking forward to seeing all the covers that come out of this. I like the fact that it was in a weird key. It wasn't all like super heavy Janis Joplin style rock. It was, folky. It had a lot going. I'm looking forward to seeing a metal or a rock cover. My audio is super static right now. How about now? I'll just change microphones. Check 1, check 2. Any better? La, la, la. How about now? There, turn these off. Any better now? This is why we do it live, ladies and gentlemen, because technical things happen. So like I was saying, based on the music in the song, I like the idea. I can't wait to find out some good covers of it, because that's just me. I love a good cover of anything. I think they hit on everything they needed to really do this episode. They introducing Rio, talking about, how did they lose their powers, and especially with, Alice figuring out, that her demon really was her generational curse. The idea of lifting the weight off her shoulders is going to be interesting to see how she is portrayed from here on out. Is she going to be a go-getter? Is she still going to be, very much not wanting to put herself out there for the sake of messing something up? it's quite a bit to go through, and I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with this. Again, I think that Lilia has this. That's my theory. That Lilia has this whole thing going on in regards to her powers are going through time, and that's why she spaces out because she's at another time and place. Do I still think Teen is the manifestation of the Darkhold? Maybe. Do I think that now that we're on the purple part of the road, we're going to get Agatha's now, and then we're going to get the other two trials? I don't know. Would I have put Agatha's trial dead center between all five of them? No, I think hers would have been best for last. Again, this is all theory. And I'm really interested to see what is going to happen with this. I mean, what were some of your favorite parts of the episode? Make sure you leave those comments down below because that's what we want to talk about. We're here to talk to you about everything going on with this show. Next week, I believe, I don't know, is the name for next week's out? I don't know. I still just want to go and keep seeing, and I'm totally down for this. What are we going to do? How are the trials going to progress? I really am looking forward to seeing how Lily is. I don't know. I am stuck on Patti LuPone's character. I think she's probably one of the most interesting ones so far. How they're going to portray this. What time frames, what tropes are we going to have? There's a lot of great things. Are we going to have like a whole Renaissance episode? That would be fantastic. And I know if I could probably go ahead and find sneak peeks, but I don't want it because I want to be fresh for this. In the meantime, speaking of fresh new stuff, Nerd Initiative has a very, 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 very big interview coming out tomorrow night. So make sure, first and foremost, because we absolutely love our QR codes. Tomorrow night, you are right here on Turn a Page. We're going to have Scott Snyder, the one and only author of Batman. We're going to have an absolute wonderful time with him, talking about the whole new book run, everything that's going over on DC. I can't wait. Ken is ecstatic. Rich, like the whole team is just freaking out. Then after that, we're going to start talking New York Comic Con. This Friday, in fact, we're going to do our preview show over on Play for Keeps, where we're going to be talking about all the collectibles and everything. Myself and Mickey, we're going to have a blast talking about all the figures that you can find while you're out there. And then next Tuesday, again, back on Turn Page, we're going to be talking about the New York Comic Con preview, whether it's TV, movies, anything else that's coming out from New York Comic Con. That's what we're going to be talking about then. But of course, before that, you get to hang out next Monday, and we're going to talk TV talk, and we're going to talk about Agatha All Along. It is a jam-packed next 2 weeks of all the fantastic content we're going to be putting out for you. And I cannot wait for you folks to all come along with us. So just as a reminder, always make sure that while you're on here, that you hit that subscribe button, because you know what? If we want to make sure we're bringing all that great content to you. Click the bell for the notifications, so that way you know exactly when we go live, just like right here on every single Monday night for TV Talk. And then, of course, tap that thumbs up so the bosses know that I'm doing a good job. Aside from that, make sure you are subscribed over here on Nerd Initiative. Make sure if you are following along here on the website. And then, of course, because it is con season, like I said, we're going to New York Comic Con. We're wearing our nerd on our sleeve. Make sure you check out the QR code right below here and get all your Nerd Initiative merch. After tomorrow night's fantastic interview with Scott Snyder, Wednesday we are putting out so many comic book reviews and coming out. You need to make sure that you are subscribed. We got them in print, we got them in video, we got them in every single form that we can think of doing right now that is just not plugged into your brain, because that's what we want to get to eventually. But right now, you got to still get on the internet and do the whole thing. Agatha is kicking ass right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going. We know it's a limited run, and they got to shove in as much as they can. So many sites are taking their time and breaking down and Easter eggs. It's just way too much. It really is. You just got to be there, pay attention, be with it, and then be back here on Monday night. My name's Off the Cuff Tom. It was an absolute pleasure having you folks on here with me tonight. Make sure that you have liked. Make sure that you have commented. Make sure that you have subscribed. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you in the next one.